Peter.
Yes.
Picture this. It's 2018.
Oh, okay. Bell bottoms. Dad shoes.
The Harlem Shake is all the rage.
That's right. Frank Sinatra is topping the charts.
A young Peter Martin walks into Open Studio headquarters and says, Adam, we're starting a daily podcast.
Boom. Well, that part's true.
And we started that day.
That's right.
And we've never looked back.
Well, a couple times.
Probably should have. I'm Adam Menace.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the 1000th episode of the You'll Hear It podcast.
Daily jazz advice. Jazz coming at you. Two guys talking jazz, two guys talking music. Music advice. What else have we said over there?
Music. Explain.
Music. Explain. Jazz. Explained.
Just two guys. My favorite is just all the times you were just like
that's
trying
what
to remember.
We were just gaslighting ourselves at that point.
Yeah. So listener, you don't know, and viewer on YouTube.
Listeners. We have more than one.
Possibly. And the people on YouTube, you don't know this, but Peter,
You don't know me.
He changes the tagline just all the time. And the best part is he'll change it frequently and then frequently forget what he's changed it to. So
well, that's a byproduct of often changing something.
So he'll often say the one that he didn't like that he wanted to change from. So
my squirrelish personality sometimes gets the best of me.
Squirrel.
Sue me.
Yep.
Look, there's a squirrel.
Yeah.
Doesn't this look beautiful? The sun is setting.
Beautiful St. Louis.
Over St. Louis, Missouri.
Beautiful
We've got
Grand
the cars
Center.
flying by. Well, today is a very special day.
It truly is.
I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but I don't want to understate it. I want to hit it right.
Let's state it.
I just want to state it. You know what I'm saying?
Perfectly
1,000
stated.
episodes, a lot of podcasts, dare I say most. If I were to estimate, on a serious note now, that's my serious note, D. So I don't think most podcasts make it to 1,000 episodes. Dare I say about 2%.
There's no way.
2.1%.
There's no way.
Science says 2.1% of podcasts make it to it. But we've made it as of today. If the dear listeners are watching and listening, that means we made it to 1,000. So congratulations, Adam.
Congratulations.
And thank you guys to the listeners. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, everybody at the Open Studio team who supported us during this run. Thank you to our sponsors, of which all have fled us, but that's okay. They were there at different times. Big shout out to Oxford American, our title OG sponsor. But no, this has been so much fun, and I can't wait to see where we're going to go next.
Well, let's see where we've been before we make that call, before we say that we're going to go too far. So let's look at some of our favorite moments.
Okay, so we've pulled up a couple. We even did a little rehearsal today, which we don't normally do, which was fun. And we're going to start with, we got to paint a picture on this one, though, because the story, this is actually a great episode. This is 5 giant steps hacks.
What a hacky title.
Is that correct? 5 giant steps hacks.
Yeah.
That doesn't fall off the tongue easy.
5 giant steps hacks. Yeah,
5 giant steps. 5 giant steps hacks.
No. So this was, so I think this was when we were recording several a day.
Yes.
Right. So this was at the end of a day, and we'd already recorded a few at least.
Right.
And
we were in the pod. Now you're going to see, we're going to revel in and memorialize several different locations that the pod has gone through. This was kind of what we called the pod suite.
The pod suite.
But it was the modified pod suite with the COVID sneeze guard. We got the giant piece of plexiglass that you see there in the middle by the spinning thing.
We've had a couple of different angles on the pod suite. We've had a couple of different angles here in the pod front as well.
That's right.
We also had the pod cave.
That's right.
And of course, briefly the pod hall, which we'll see a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this was the pod suite. And this was a day, like I said, towards the end of the day, we'd already recorded several episodes, and we had the dumb idea to do 5 hacks on how to play giant steps. And we thought, well, we got to start with a cold open, so let's trade on giant steps. Our brains are pretty fried.
Yes, and it's a hard tune, in case you never heard it.
We do like one decent, like I remember the first take was decent, but we were like, no, we could do better.
And it just got slowly worse
and worse. And so literally, I swear, listener, this is no exaggeration, like probably 100 takes of this. It was an hour of giant steps.
And just the roller coaster of emotion.
Oh my gosh.
We got mad at ourselves. We got mad at each other.
Yeah.
We got mad at the listeners, which clearly it wasn't their fault.
Yeah, we got mad
at
ourselves
frustrated
again.
We got shameful.
There was times where we were playing it great, but then the dialogue was stale, so we had to do it again. I feel like there was even a technical glitch at one point where we like forgot to press record
Caleb
and had a
did
good
something
one.
where we didn't.
Caleb wasn't even in the picture.
Caleb wasn't
back
there.
then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't Caleb.
So this was a memorable one for us, and we all often refer to this actually when we start recording. if something's not going well, we'll give
Wait,
it one of those.
That's like a trigger for us.
And we know, like, okay, let's not get into that. Yeah.
Well, let's check it out, because the amazing thing about it, it actually take 108 came out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yo, Adam.
Yes.
Check it.
Oh, you mean like
You nailed that one. Or maybe
finally.
look at that light up keyboard. Blue for me.
Or how about like green for me?
you.
We did it. I feel like
That's
we even
not
had a
bad.
conversation after that one of like, was
That's
that
not
the
bad.
one?
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can check out the whole episode's pretty good.
The whole episode's pretty good.
Because we felt so good after we nailed it. We were like,
hey!
Then we're like, we can't mess it up now.
Well, and ironic about that one is, one of our, like, we've had episodes about don't do multiple takes, like 3 or 4 takes max, and then move on. And we're not following our own rule, and we get bit by it.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so the next one is, check this one out. See if this brings back some memories, Mr. Manis.
Oh, I remember this.
This is, okay, the title of this is Solo Discussion, Lingus, Corey Henry. The original title, I don't know if you remember this, Adam.
I do.
Was Solo Analysis.
Boy, did we hear about that.
We had to change it because folks said, you're not analyzing, you're reacting. And you know what we said to them? You were correct about that.
Yeah.
We are not. We didn't prepare for this. We just listened to it. So
it was a total reaction. We're lucky that it doesn't say solo reaction Lingus, because that's actually what it is.
Exactly. So let's just check it out. I mean, we're kind of... I like the way this started, though. That's kind of cool.
Adam, what's up?
Is that Morse code you're sending me?
No, it's Snarky Puppy.
I mean, this was unscripted.
Yeah, they know.
Okay. No, I mean, the timing...
I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
You're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast. It was
so
so cold,
Daily
we had a
jazz
blanket
advice.
on the Kranich and Bach to keep it warm. Look at that.
I know, look at it.
So we
yeah.
used to have this.
And at you.
Coming at you with Tune Analysis Wednesday. The piano and the
Tune
pod.
Analysis Wednesday.
It was a whole feature.
What
we don't
happened
even
to that?
remember anymore. We had
should
a
do that.
ton. We had Feedback Friday.
Feedback Friday.
We had Method Monday.
Cold Open Wednesdays.
Taco Tuesday. No, we never had that.
But we went through and just sort of talked. We were reacting to it and having fun. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. But this is one of our most viewed and listened to episodes.
But it got a bunch of blowback on YouTube. Not so much from our audio listeners, but on the YouTube video. Because, YouTube folks, they don't even know that we're a podcast. They think we're a tutorial video only. And so even when we do like an episode that's just you and I talking about things, they're like, too much talking. And it's like, that's what
more
the
teaching,
show,
less talking.
Yeah, more teaching, less talking. Like the show is talking. You're watching the show right now. Watching us bullshit our way through these subjects is the show. Unfortunately, that's the entertaining part.
No, it's not.
And so they were like, too much talking, not enough analyzing. And we were like, yeah, we know.
But then when we started analyzing, they're like, no, not enough analyzing, too much reacting.
Yeah, that's right. So we had to change the title of it. But I'm glad we did.
Okay, next up, we had a very short, considering we had 1,000 episodes, this was a very short-lived location.
Oh, yeah. So this was the Pothole, and you're going to be able to hear it. Oh, this is some bad singing on my part, too. I think this was the moment where I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice singing.
Yeah, this was an unusual setup because I have a keyboard and you don't have a keyboard. I think it's the only episode like that.
Because this was, I think, the first recording we did back from the pandemic.
Right.
This was still in the middle of the lockdown.
This was summer 2020.
But now we're out in the main room of old Open Studio headquarters, which has like 40-foot high ceilings, and we have the table going long ways.
Right.
And we don't have the sneeze guard
we
yet.
don't have because we were like, oh, it's a big air. Remember when they were like, as long as there's a lot of air around.
I'm sure we were still wiping down things, the surfaces of packages that were coming in.
That's right.
I have for some reason, the large diaphragm mic that was on the piano. I don't have a keyboard because I had taken it to my house at that point for the pandemic.
I think you took the microphone too.
I believe I did. Yeah.
That's right. And sold it on eBay.
And we're wearing headphones because we didn't have any
headphone guys.
Speakers. Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
What you know about this?
I can't do that. I can't even do that on the piano. Much less with my voice.
That
I really
reverb.
miss my Hammer 88, man.
So,
What was the name of this one?
Well, this is what's weird about it. 4 scales, every jazz musician should know.
Yeah.
That intro would belie the title, I would say.
Yeah, what scales are we talking about?
I don't know. Should we go back and check a little bit out? Let's hear a little bit.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
The intro stayed the same. For those
You just like the intro. The intro's good.
Well, I like that you're singing and there's a heavy reverb and I'm playing.
It's just a very unique situation, yeah. I'm Adam Menace.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear podcast.
Music advice coming at you.
Oh,
back
yeah, the
in
reverb.
The
Pothole?
Pothole.
Did I just
I
christen
didn't
it
even know
Pothole
it's
at that
the
moment?
Pothole. This is amazing.
It is kind of amazing. Yeah, so we were separated for months of the pandemic. We were sheltering from home. We were doing...
Oh, back when we thought the pandemic would be months.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was fun. So a little bit of Pothole. We're going to keep things moving because, that's how we do it. Can
I just say, look at the pod front. Caleb, go back to that main shot. Look at that. Look at how beautiful this looks. We got a cityscape in the background.
But pretty soon, darkness is going to fall upon us.
It's all good. We can...
Freaks come out at night.
Hey.
The freaks come out. Okay. All right, here we go. We've got... This is an unusual title for us, so I thought it would be a fun one. And not really what we normally cover. Well, we do sometimes. How to get those funky pop voicings. Now we are fully enshrined. Actually, no. This is pre-pandemic. The orientation's a little different. We were in the pod suite. So we were in and out of the pod suite.
Definitely pre-pandemic.
Shoegazing. But dual Doppio.
Wow, if you're
light
looking
up
on,
keyboards, green and blue.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube,
Caleb, what do
check
you
out
think
this
about
episode, and you can see.
Yeah, for the YouTube.
Well, so this was our old producer, Andrew Kitchen, who's no longer with us. God bless. And he figured out...
He's still alive.
Oh, yeah. No, he just lives in Iowa now. Yeah, he's still... Or Nebraska or something. He's somewhere in the Midwest. Shout out, Andrew.
He's no longer with us.
But he set up this whole setup where we had the two different keyboards, and one was green and one was blue, and he never told us how he did it.
No, and then he left for Iowa with the secret. And check this out. When I'm playing, it's just the one keyboard. You're gazing at your shoe preemptively for some reason. And then look. Swoop! We're making some music together, my brother.
Yeah, man. This is
when I go low, you go high, just like Michelle Obama.
This is pre-keyscape, though, obviously.
I know.
Sounds.
Is that Apple? But it doesn't sound bad. Do we go right into the cold open?
I think we do.
We just put two hats on one hat there.
Two hats on a hat. That's a good intro.
Yeah, that was good. So yeah, that was that. Should we keep the party moving?
Let's keep it moving.
Okay.
Man.
So now we have an interesting one because I didn't even remember as I was researching, as we always do for this. Check this out. So now we've done a lot of remotes, like where I'm remote, you're in the studio, or I'm at home, you're in the studio, you're at home, I'm in the studio. But we only did a few where we were both at home. So this was very early in the pandemic when we were afraid. I was down in the basement. I was afraid to see my family.
Yeah.
Much less go out into the world. So,
this seems like this is definitely a me up. Like the title is 7 Ways to Make Your Piano Talk. I feel like this was my idea.
I think so.
Because I was going through a phase of the talking piano.
But it's kind of like for a remote thing. It's pretty good. What you know about
we
still got the rapport and the timing going.
Well, I remember the timing was a struggle.
You hear me talking?
How about some of this?
How did we get that though?
The MIDI keyboard thing? How do I not play that over
what about
again?
My time is up a little bit. Oh, and check this out. I don't know if you can see here with my arrow pointing. There's some larceny going on here. Do you see what is on your...
I gave that back.
Well, at
That's
this time,
your Phillips exercise.
That is my Phillips
book.
exercise.
Hey,
Independence of
I
the
made a
Hand.
whole course out of that book. So.
No, it's good, but it's literally my... I can see it. It's my actual copy.
I did, there weren't a lot of people around in the studio in those days, so I could just come in and take whatever I wanted.
That was good. That was good. All right, cool. Now we've got one that I think probably almost nobody's seen.
Oh, good.
Because it has how many views? Oh, no, it's got a few views on it. But this will be a fun trip down memory lane. What do you know about this?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to our old intern, Clara.
Yeah, she's not
for
that old.
Animating.
She's 22 now.
This was the 15th episode of the podcast. So this was like 2 weeks in.
Okay, so listen to our delivery. It's very early. So we didn't have the witty. When did we start the cold open? That was later?
Way later, yeah.
But look at this. This is
How to become a better composer.
Caleb,
it's all animated with the...
I'm Peter Martin.
Look at these
And
guys.
I'm Adam Menace. Welcome to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Big
that might
beard.
look better than look at that. Ooh.
I like that logo. We got to take that logo.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about how you can become a better composer. And if this works out well, we're going to talk about how we can become better composers.
Okay, let's just talk about that.
Okay.
Did I think I was making a joke? What was that I was just saying? It was stupid.
how you can become a better composer
and if this works out, we're going to talk about how we can. But
No,
I
we're
didn't
supposed
laugh.
to be the experts.
I know, but it just doesn't make sense. It's not good. Let's check it out again. It's like
Today,
a bad.
we're going to talk about how you can
Are these our
become
favorite
a
moments?
better composer. And if this works out well, we're going to talk about how we can become better composers as well. We're always growing, always learning, right, Adam?
That's right, man. I'm going to be out of this jazz thing. I'm going to be a professional composer.
That's
See y'all
clever
later.
what you did there.
And well,
That was
you bring up a good point because I think all
What point?
jazz musicians.
What point was that?
I know. You know what? We were still learning. Always, like I said, always be learning. We just hadn't learned yet. But check that one out if you get a chance, to our listeners and on YouTube. That's How to Become a Better Composer. You'll hear it. Season 1,
Oh man.
episode 15.
Wow. All right. What else you got?
We were just young. Okay, we got one more, and then we got a bonus,
Okay,
of
good.
course, because you
I
know how
love
we
a
do
bonus,
it.
Jonas.
7 plus a bonus. Okay, so you picked this one. If you'd like to maybe paint us a picture on this, because this was a fun one.
Oh, so this was one of my favorite ones. So this was in an era. We've done so many different styles of this podcast. Obviously, we have staples like the list of 7, and and then we have new features like OGs, React to IGs, and our generational list, which were a big hit.
Yep.
But we went through a phase where we were doing like more long form and more researched. I mean, these really became what the Open Studio YouTube channel is now,
Yes.
with like tutorial videos.
Yes.
A lot of my videos that I make on YouTube are kind of based off of this era.
Do you
of
make
the, you'll
videos
hear
on YouTube?
I do occasionally, but I kind of learned how to do it from these podcasts.
Yep.
Where I spent a lot of time researching some of this stuff. This was the first one I really did. It's called How Bad is the Real Book Actually? It's got quite a few views on YouTube actually, because it's a fairly good YouTube video. Again, most of the people in the comments are like, why is there so much talking?
At the beginning.
And it's like, yeah, because it's a podcast.
I know.
It's 55
How do
minutes
they
long.
not get that?
But
How do
we
they
go
not-
through tunes like Settled by Starlight and Softly as a Morning Sunrise, but not for me, and like researched the original versions versus like the chord changes that you might play in the real book, really talking about how bad the original real book is actually.
Yeah.
Especially the things like melodies. Like,
Yeah.
there's missing melodies, there's wrong notes, there's horrible chord changes. The most surprising
We were fact checkers back then.
the most surprising thing about this episode, especially when it got on YouTube and the comments started get going, with how many people were defending the real book
I know.
like crazy. And I understand that it's very helpful, but I feel like, go a mile deep and a foot wide instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like learn your tune. Anyway, I don't
No,
want
go a
to.
mile
I don't want to
deep.
get the real book apologist back on my back, but because I see where it's definitely helpful. I might use it as I go to this gig tonight. And I don't know what we're gonna play at some jam session or whatever.
Right.
and check some changes before I go up. But like,
Should we watch? Listen
Yeah.
a little bit. Let's just see.
hey Peter,
Hey,
you ever heard of a dust jacket?
like for an LP or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I have. I even have a few.
Well, I hope you have one on you today because it's about to get dusty up in here.
Oh, let's do it.
Why?
I love the little
Why?
side glance to the camera.
Yeah.
because you were
Nervously.
switching the cameras for YouTube at this point too. Air drums, dancing, all good.
Switching. Back to switching.
I'm Adam Annis. Took a minute.
And I'm Peter Martin.
That was an awkward pause.
Music advice.
Actually, that's a good setup for our bonus.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
true.
of
coming at you twice a week.
Coming at you, what? Twice a week.
Thought I'd slip that in there.
What did-
Gotcha.
What did you just say?
Hey, man, it's we're ever evolving, ever changing, ever adapting.
So we're gonna add an episode. I feel like
Okay, so let's just talk about this a little bit because we were
doing one a week. That's right.
that's what okay.
Yeah.
But we started out daily.
Yeah, 7 days a
we-
week.
7 days a week, and
Yep.
then we went to 3 days a week.
We went to 5 days a week.
No, we went to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Because we were like every day.
Yeah.
Every weekday.
Yeah.
And then we went to once a week,
Well, then we went to 3 days a week,
3 days a week,
and then we went to once a week.
and that's when we couldn't handle the blowback.
Yeah, and then we went back to 3 days a week, which is what we're at now.
Well, we did 2 days a week for a little while. Apparently.
I think we did. Yeah. I
This
don't know
went
why.
down
to one a week.
That's right. The people love us too much. They've been demanding this. They've been asking for it. We got to give the people what they want, man.
Okay.
That's how we do it.
All right. So we'll do another
Overuse of the blue light
episode.
there, possibly?
Well, remember we were excited because we got the blue backlight. You had the blue hoodie. We were all in on blue. You
Yeah.
know, but it's not a bad look. Look at
For
that.
this week. This feels
Yeah,
like
well, I'm
both
excited
like
about
it
it.
was
Okay, let's do it.
yesterday
Actually,
and
the way
a
this is gonna
1,000
work
years
is already
ago.
out.
I got blue in the background too.
Because we're in the future, remember?
How do you know all of this before it
Man,
happens?
I got it. I got it all up here. We'll talk about it after.
All right, well, we could talk about it later. Well, today's episode is sponsored by Open Studio. Go to Open Studio Jazz.
As always.
Yeah.
Open Studio.
Yeah. That was fun though. And that's a good episode for, like you say, for folks to check out. There's actually a really good PDF download. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like a legit lesson.
Hey, and before we do our bonus Jonas, if you're in the YouTube comments, why don't you put in your favorite You'll Hear It episode of all time? Let us know your favorite episodes. Maybe even put a link to the YouTube video of your favorite. If you're in the audio,
Yeah.
leave us a speak pipe of your favorite You'll Hear It episode or your favorite You'll Hear It moment. And
Where
maybe we'll
perchance would they be able to do that?
go to you'llhearit.com, bud.
Hello.
Yeah.
That'll answer all your
what
questions,
I'm saying?
prayers, and acquisitions.
Okay, what's our last one?
Okay, our last one, we're going to go all the way back to episode number 1. We got to go.
Would that be something you might be interested in?
Mildly, yes. But I think folks will be interested. This is this is available on Spotify. I don't know if it's still available on Apple Podcasts, how they do this. But this is episode number 1. We're going all the way back to January
Yeah.
of 2018, I
Wow.
believe. And, this is kind of a, see how far we've come and see how far we haven't come, kind of from our core mission, which I'm very proud of. But there are some delivery and quality issues at the beginning. Well, we were let our dear listeners.
Buddy, it was our very first swing at a podcast.
Yeah. And we woke up that morning not knowing that we were going to do well, you certainly woke up not knowing you were going to do a podcast.
No.
So
I'd never talked on a microphone before.
we'll play a little bit, maybe stop and just with some quick commentary and then get the folks out of here, as they like to say.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. So, first note, no cold opening, as we mentioned before.
Same
until
theme.
later. Same theme, same performance,
Same name.
said the emotion in motion. I'm Peter Martin.
And I'm Adam Menace.
Okay, there's a little tinge of not joy, but not anger, but
Yeah.
a little bit,
Hostility.
a little hostile, a little bit nervous, perhaps.
Possibly.
Let's check it out again.
Also, lots of reverb because we were at the piano. Remember this? We were at the
We were at-
piano.
no, weren't we?
No, we were at the piano.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Peter Martin.
And I'm Adam Menace.
Welcome to the You'll Hear It podcast.
For some reason, I say it like I'm reading it. I was like, welcome
know
to
what?
the. Maybe I was.
You might have been because I remember we had bullet points. We did. We had bullet points written down. And so we probably just came up with the name. I know we came up with the name that day.
Yeah.
And so you probably were just having to remember what it was called, the
Right.
You'll Hear It podcast. It wasn't a thing.
This was one take. I do remember that, and we did not rehearse. We talked about what are we going to do, and you were kind of like, and I was like, no, come on, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's listen a little bit.
Yeah. Lots of melody.
Oh, there's a little space after the.
Quite a bit. Still going.
How long is the episode?
8 minutes.
Oh, that's great. We should do
Today
those.
we're going to give you 7 great practice routine hacks for you to work into your daily practice routine.
definitely were reading that.
So I'm going to start with developing a routine. This is so important.
Interesting.
No banter. I'm
No-
going to start with right out the gate. Number 1.
Not even a banter, not even like a, wow, we're starting a new pod. No kind of humor, no kind of entry point, or I'm Peter Bart. Well, I said
maybe these are our best episodes, man.
we just get right to it.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like the need for a bio or who the hell are we? We're
Nothing.
just like,
Just go into it.
Have a routine of how you're going to get into your practice so that when you sit down each day, you already know what you're going to do. That might be just
You know
a
what?
real
Hold on. Can
simple.
you pause? You know what I love about this? Do you remember what our number 998 episode was?
oh, it was 7 ways to
It was practice motivation. It was basically how to set up your practice routine. We've come full circle.
Was it better than this one, though?
Yeah, it was.
A little bit. Okay, good. Oh, man,
You want to have
we
a
were at the
routine of
piano.
how you're going to get into your practice so that when you sit down each day,
a
you already
podcast or
know
a
what you're
piano
going to
lesson?
do. That might be just a real simple.
It was a good Steinway.
That was a good stuff.
Yeah.
Real simple way that you like to start out your scales, whatever it is for you. You know, trumpet players
That was
like to do
pre
those tonguing,
Sean's grandma's Steinway.
exercises,
That was the
Right, that
old
was
one.
that was the big one.
Yeah, the big one.
big boy.
things like that. But you want to have a routine. You don't want to sit there saying, "What should I do?" And you also don't want to just sit down and play some random stuff. You know, how was that for random? I was kind of.
Does anyone do
Is
that?
there any? Am I on this episode?
I mean, we're gonna go back and forth.
do.
maybe?
And you also don't want to just sit down and play some random stuff. You know, how was that for random? That was kind of random, right?
Pretty random.
Just some random stuff. You want to practice with purpose. So develop a routine and make sure you're starting somewhere.
Super
that makes
dogmatic
sense.
of me.
Number 2 is to don't play until the very end of your practice session.
Is that a sentence?
Don't start.
Number 2 is to don't play until the very end of your. What does that even mean?
You sounded closer to the way you sound now than I did.
Well, I'm a natural.
You are a natural. You're you're just totally stagnant. No, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's. I mean, it's a little bit. You know, but I mean, not as much as mine is.
What am I talking about?
Mine,
though?
I just sound angry. It's like the early 2 minutes. I sound angry and dogmatic.
Yeah, if you've
right?
not seen Peter's early 2-minute jazz episodes on YouTube, he is like, I mean,
Not for the faint of heart. though.
scary, almost. Like, just do this. Do this shit, man.
I'm calling my
what you-
cousin
Yeah.
in Jersey.
Performing a piece or a tune and just start playing around the tune until you've hit specific things that you need to work on.
Why not?
Because then you just get caught up in these rambling playing of tunes.
It's ironic
over
I
and
tripped
over
up on the
again.
word
Usually same
rambling.
tunes
That's
you
very
already
good.
know. And that brings us to the third point, which is
Separate your conscious from
From the unconscious. Well, we were.
unconscious practice. So what I mean
It's
by
amazing. We got to episode 2, man. It's truly, it's a testament to our
that, I
own
think
perseverance.
70 to 80% of our practice should be very conscious.
Wow.
You got statistics on it? You got some
Already?
data?
I got
70
one
per-
episode. I don't
70
even have one episode under our belt. 70 to 80%. Really? That
Wow.
imprecise?
Practice,
All right.
very focused, where we're thinking about specifically what we're doing. So if we're working
Shouldn't
on
that be more like 90 to 95?
Yeah.
improvisation, we're thinking about specific scales, we're thinking about specific patterns, specific solos. We're practicing in a way and thinking in a way that we wouldn't do when we're performing. But then you always want to have that unconscious kind of practice where we're
You're
just
settled
playing
down
and
now.
letting
You're-
loose.
you're more-
And to your point of number 3 of waiting till the end of your practice routine,
That was number
that's
2.
when you're going to want to do your more unconscious playing. So maybe you're waiting till then to just play through the piece and not think about all the
Piece,
stuff that you
again.
worked on. Give yourself a chance
Oh, that was the first. We've done a lot. How many of those have we done over
It's
there?
a staple.
to have all that come out unconsciously. Or maybe it's
Unconsciously.
Oh, wait.
Interesting.
subconsciously. I don't even know the difference.
I don't either.
But they're both important, right?
And so that brings us to number 4.
You didn't answer the question.
We have fun.
Don't practice stuff you already can do. This is
Stuff!
something that our silly human brains trick us into doing all the time. Our egos
Don't
want us to
practice
sound
stuff.
good. Even
Ooh,
if
I'm
it's
already
just
on an
for us,
egoic
especially when it's
kick
just for us.
here.
Sometimes.
The meditation
But
journey
don't
has
fall
already
into
started.
that trap. You will never improve just playing the same tunes in the same way, doing the same licks in the same keys.
That is
But
true.
you will
That's true,
improve.
actually. That's true.
Making the same episodes in the same way over the same.
can already play it great. So make a decision at the start of your practice routine to work
Set
on
your
things
intention,
that
is that what you
can't
meant?
do. That's
Yeah.
the time to do it. You don't want to be doing it on the gig or at the jam session. You want to be doing it in the private
Yeah, you don't want to set an intention on the gig. You could be drinking
No.
on the gig in the jam session.
Yeah.
your own home where you can really focus and hone in on the skills that'll bring your entire level of playing up, not
Focus,
just the stuff
Adam.
you're already good at.
Focus.
Yeah, because when you're practicing things that you
That's-
can...
okay. all I can take. That's all I can
was-
take.
That's my first. Before that, we were really like, and then I must have felt comfortable because then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna mansplain a little bit more of your your answer there. you
We
know?
call it Martin-splaining around the
Martin-
office.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Really? Anyway, if you're interested in 5.5 more minutes, that's only 3.5 minutes. Go to Spotify and reverse search to the oldest.
sorry.
No, but that was good. I mean, you know what? What's super fun is that we're still the same podcast. We're just better,
Older?
older,
Wiser.
and slightly better.
Yeah.
You know,
Hopefully.
But it's been fun, and so thank you guys. I mean, if please drop in the comments or leave us a speak pipe if you've been around since episode 1 and you remember. And first of all, that was a bad title. 7 great practice routine hacks. Those aren't hacks.
We didn't have our titles
Those are like
together
deep.
yet.
Those are like
Yeah.
concepts.
We did not have our titles together. But, we've learned so
A
much.
hack would be like leave a pencil by the piano
No.
when you're composing.
Think about and this is actually some actionable advice if you're still listening to this episode and you want something to kind of take away from.
Oh, they're still here.
So you want to get good at something or be able to do it easily, do 1,000 of them.
Right.
Because think about what, if someone told us any subject, gave us any subject and said, title that, you and I could come up with something decent in 5 seconds because we've titled 1,000 episodes roughly. Or if someone just puts a microphone in front of either one of us and says, talk about this, I can give you 10 minutes on pretty much anything at
That's
this
right.
point. And it's only because we have 1,000 episodes of this podcast where we've just talked about subjects to each other and to the listeners.
If you have a Shure what are these SM?
SM7B, yeah.
In front of me, I'm going to be moving it. And
Oh, Peter
you know-
can't stop. This is just and he knows he does it.
Well,
He'll be like
No,
over
you know what?
here.
Sometimes I sit on my hands, and that helps me. Like,
Oh yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Adam. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, folks.
I will see you at either episode 1001 or episode 1 of our new podcast.
We'll find
Stick
out.
around to find out.
All right.
Until next time.
You'll hear it.